So when you're securing your building and you need to create a barrier, but still need to be able to talk to your customers, employees, or whoever you're interacting with, what's a good solution for that? I'm Mike Witt with Kontek Industries, and today we're going to go over a few different types of transaction windows that may be applicable for you and your place, your school, your business, or anywhere you may be interfacing with potential clients. So in the world of transaction windows, there's several factors that you'll definitely want to look at when making a decision for the right transaction window for you. Some of the first things you're going to be looking at are your ballistic protection level and your force entry level. What threat are you potentially up against, and how can you best mitigate that threat? So ideally, the ballistic transaction window is designed to create a safe safety barrier between you and personnel, but still allow you to do your job, which is communicating with them, pass them paperwork, objects, things like that. So still being able to conduct day-to-day business quickly, safely, and effectively, but still have a safety barrier between you and the potential threat. For ballistic ratings, there's really two main things you want to look at. There's two standards that are typically followed. Most often, you're going to see the UL 752 ballistic standard, which is the most common for architectural armor. You will see sometimes the NIJ standard as well, but both of these essentially break out the different types of weapons and ammunition that they guard against. For purpose of conversation though, typically the first thing you're to look at is, well, what threat am I looking at? Is it a pistol-based threat? Is it a rifle-based threat? And there's a variety of different factors that go into making that decision, which we have other videos on when it comes to a threat and vulnerability assessment, so be sure to check those out. But really, that's going to be the first thing you're going to look at is, what kind of defense do I need? Is it ballistic protection against pistols? Is it rifles? And also, what kind of delay time am I looking for should there be an incident? Most commonly for ballistic transaction windows, dependent on the ballistic and force entry rating that you end up selecting, there's going to be really three types of materials that you'll typically see. You'll either see transaction windows made from acrylic, of polycarbonate, or glass-clad polycarbonate, and really those go through the different layers of protection. Your acrylic is typically going to be at your lowest end of protection, but it is going to give you good levels of clarity between you and the individuals that you're talking to on the other side. Polycarbonate is kind of your middle ground, so that will typically cover your larger pistol rounds. And then once you get into glass-clad polycarbonate, that's going to be a multi-layered solution, so you are going to get a little bit of degradation in visibility relative to what you get out of, say, acrylic, but it'll offer you higher levels of ballistic protection against rifle threats. So often when you're dealing with transaction windows, you need to be able to speak and communicate to the individual on the other side. So there's a few different ways you can do that. There are passive talk box systems that are simply ballistic rated passive talk box, exactly in the name, so there's no built-in electronics or anything like that that allows you to communicate through the glass, through the polycarbonate or the acrylic to speak with your customers on the other side. You also have another passive solution, which is like a baffled solution, which you'll have a set of acrylic polycarbonate or glass-clad polycarbonate in front, and then your actual screening is offset slightly, so you have an air gap that goes around that allows air and voices to travel, but will not allow people to reach through, put weapons through, anything like that, so it still offers you that protection. And then lastly, you have your active talk boxes, right? So this is more traditional ballistically rated, but active talk box system that actually uses speakers and electronics and a microphone to actually communicate your message through the transaction window. So again, there's features and benefits to all those that you need to take into consideration. How much are you engaging with customers throughout the day? Are you located in a loud, busy area where you need an active talk box so people can hear you? All of these sorts of things are things you want to look at when making that type of decision. And then last but not least, you have the transaction of paperwork, goods, or anything like that between you and the client outside of the transaction window. So it really depends on, again, your frequency. How often are you transacting material goods through your transaction window? Additionally, what is the threat? So once you kind of look at all these different factors, you have a few different types. Again, you have more of a passive tray. So you'll see the dip trays that you'll see at a lot of convenience stores, at some banks and things like that, where you'll pass through paperwork, change, money, things like that underneath the tray. Those trays are typically ballistically rated. And again, it gives you an open air gap to where you can still communicate with customers. You can also get transact goods. However, it does not allow them to put their hands, knives, weapons, or anything like that up underneath that transact tray. You also have more permanent built-in trays that will actually come out from the wall, the ballistic wall beneath that transaction window, an actual drawer that the operator from the backside can open, push out. The individual on the other side will be placing in the goods, paperwork, whatever they have, and then transact and pull it back in. So again, you're maintaining that good, safe distance and that barrier between the employee and the client, but it gives a good, clean aesthetic to the environment, as well as offers 100% ballistic protection. So again, you don't have any open air gaps between the employee and the client. So whether you're a bank, a convenience store, or a place of business, very often you'll see these in a lot of government buildings where, again, there is potential for threats and you have to consistently transact between personnel and employees at the facility. If this is something that you are interested in, please reach out to us at info@kontekindustries.com. We'll be happy to get you more information and help guide you in the right direction to select the right transaction window for you. Thanks.